Why Greenock?
Why not Nazareth?
Why Greenock?
Yeah, well, I thought Greenock was the most beautiful place in Scotland. If God was going to choose a conference on the greatest need right now for the evangelical church to hear the need for God to get back and Jesus Christ to be the head of the church again, this is the most important thing. Why wouldn't God choose the most beautiful place in Scotland? So I naturally thought when I was approached by these men that Scotland was a beautiful place. So I called it the Victoria of Scotland. And Victoria in Canada is the most beautiful city in Canada, where Gareth lives. So, and when we got here, the first thing I heard in the car from Gareth and Brother Eli, this isn't Victoria. So
it was raining, it was pouring.
I still think God's providence was in it. I truly believe that. I did not even take a step into this personally without really recognizing God's providential guidance in this. It's such a big thing. I'd be a fool to just do it off a whim or an idea.
And I believe we would both say that we really believe that God has met us here. We're so glad we came here. We really are. Really are. Gentlemen, it's almost an embarrassing question. I made a comment a little earlier that you all came here of your own volition freely. I don't know if some people believe me. The question says this. I will read the whole thing. Did all the conference speakers really come here at their own expense? Even from USA, Canada, South Africa? This is extraordinary and deeply humbling. It makes this conference stand out from any other Christian meetings I've ever attended. Lord's blessing be upon you, sir. Did you really come here of your own volition, or is there some secret?
For me, Visa paid for me to come here. And then the Lord paid the visa, so.
I've been paid nothing at all. nothing. We have a secret trust account.
It's in an Icelandic bank.
I've been paid exceedingly abundantly above what I
Yes, I'm happy to show my airline ticket to anybody who'd like to see it. Unfortunately, they would also see that I have to excuse myself right at this moment because I have to drive to the airport and leave right at the moment. So I thank you all for a lovely conference for myself and apologize for my rudeness for having to leave this wonderful panel.
Lord, hold it all, it's been a joy to have you with us. I bought my tickets to come, and then a dear brother in Victoria came to me and said, Gareth, I'm paying you away. But we have been abundantly paid back by the hospitality we've received here and the love that we've received from each one of you. It really has been something special. Gentlemen, I've got one last question. A book that you would recommend for our congregation, particularly I think the young pastors, a book that you would recommend, autobiography. Just one.
I'm just going to say it first so I get to say it. Why Revival Tarries by Leonard Ravenhill.
Can I say Sounds from Heaven? The story, Mary and I wrote this book. Sounds from Heaven, the story of the Lewis Revival, which has Duncan Campbell's original weekly reports, never seen the light of day before. It's got from there valuable source material. It's got 25 testimonies of those who were there. And a pastor from America came along and he bought 450 the other day and sent back to his congregation to read over the summer to discuss later. And then he got another 300 for pastors in the Northwest. So it's having its impact. Sounds from Heaven. story of the Lewis revival in 1949?
I think it has to be two for me. I was a young pastor, and two of the greatest books and impact on my life was A.W. Tozer's The Pursuit of God, and a book not on revival but on prayer, E.M. Bound's Power Through Prayer, and a mighty, mighty book, and a book that I think was part of birthing revival, even though it's not on revival, the desire for revival in my heart.
Yes. I have to agree with Greg that these good heart, they're by revival terrors. And then also, there's a book that's not directly about revival, but F.J. Hugo's book on Bone of His Bone.
Oh, yeah.
Bone of His Bone.
And this might not sound like a book on revival either, but I think it is. A.W. Tozer's book, The Attributes of God. Have it by your bedside, keep on reading it, and just show the knowledge of the Holy, and just respond to what God speaks to your heart in that book.
Yeah, I'd have to say too, I agree with Brother Greg. Why Revival Tarries, that book, that's the reason why all the other books have been written on revival. Brother Leonard Ravenhill was out front, his burden was there. Many others have followed his example. But as far as living in the reality of revival, very simple level, entry level book, Andrew Murray, Abide in Christ. So simply given, yet so few know the reality of simply walking in moment by moment, abiding relationship with Christ, which is revival.
That's the one thing. All these questions we've been talking about, it seems that we're always asking one other questions, and we get complicated. And I think that what God is saying is not how to solve the Calvin Arminian question or man's sovereignty. I mean, it's obvious he's going to teach us that. But the things he's saying to us are simple. And sometimes we spend our time trying to get complicated and think we can't answer the simple until we get those other things just right. If you were to talk through Romans 9, 10, and 11, which I have many times publicly, I used to have sovereignty and free will figured out perfectly. But you see, the older you get and the more you participate in the things of God in the body, the more mystified and on your face you will end up where Paul was at the end. Oh, who can know the mind of the Lord? But the things he says to you and to me are clear. Now, last night, there were some people in here who had been under conviction. I talked to you early in the afternoon, but you lost sight of the conviction through praise. Nothing wrong with praise. Awesome. But it's the word for the moment. What God says to me, the simple thing is the next thing I must do. I mustn't go just content myself to study Calvinism or Reform or Arminianism when God tells me to love my wife. You go home and make it right with your wife. There's a lot of people that preach a whole lot and do a lot of things in the name of the Lord who are ignoring the simple thing God said to them. That's the key for you and for me.
Amen. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm sure everybody's appreciated your time here and the answers that you've been given, and we just appreciate you so much. Thank you. Suzanne?